Ghidorah, or Ghidrah, the three-headed monster, was released in 1964, with Honda and Segasawa at the helm of this installment. In Japan, it was titled The Three Giant Monsters, Earth's Greatest Battle, even though there were 4 monsters in the fight. Not only did Godzilla and Mothra come back for the sequel, but Rodan the Fire Monster entered the franchise, a firebird kaiju who, like Mothra, appeared in its own film. This installment would introduce fans and audiences alike to King Ghidorah, a golden 3-headed dragon from outer space, who would become Godzilla's recurring arch-nemesis and Toho's most famed kaiju next to the king and the queen of the monsters. 2024 was also Ghidorah's anniversary. He turned 60 just last year. The film opens up with a meteor shower descending onto Japan, with a big one crashing into Mount Kurodake. Our human protagonists are a reporter and her detective brother. An investigation is launched on the site of the meteor crash. Meanwhile, there's a prophetess going around claiming she's from the planet Venus. In the English dub, it was switched to Mars due to the sci-fi Martian craze that was still active in the West. The prophetess was actually a princess from a foreign country, who we earlier saw jumped out of a plane as soon as it blew up. There's a subplot involving assassins trying to kill her as well. She predicts calamities such as Rodan emerging from Mount Aso and warning the Shobijin, Mothra's fairies, from sailing on a ship that Godzilla would later destroy. The latter does occur. Godzilla destroys the ship, heads out to Yokohama, and battles Rodan across the countryside. At this point in the franchise, Godzilla's appearance has been modified to become more and more anthropomorphic, looking slimmer and cartoonish. The Rodan suit was also modified, with a more avian bird-like appearance. Our protagonist discovers that she's the missing princess and that she's being possessed by an alien survivor who warns the Earth's inhabitants of King Ghidorah, the alien dragon that destroyed her civilization and soon will destroy Earth's as well. The meteor investigation team camps around the meteorite and detects large amounts of magnetism, up to the point that the meteor splits open, spewing flames, which would soon materialize the infamous King Ghidorah. Inspired by the myth of Orochi, the 8-headed serpent, producer Tomoyuki Tanaka wanted Godzilla to fight a 3-headed dragon in his next film. Ghidorah's name comes from the Japanese word for Hydra, which coincidentally sounds similar to its Russian pronunciation. Contrary to popular belief, Ghidorah is not a political allegory. Many assume that because he was a dragon, he represented China, but Ishiro Honda insisted that the kaiju was just a different take on the Orochi myth. Monster designer Akira Watanabe explored the creatures from Eastern and Western mythology when creating the monster, resulting in a winged, 3-headed amalgamation of a Hydra and traditional Chinese dragons. Originally, Ghidorah's coloring was never established, with Teiju Toshimitsu painting it green just to differentiate it from the other kaiju. It was only after Eiji Tsuburaya came to set one day that his assistant noted that since Ghidorah came from the planet Venus, a golden planet, his official color should be gold. His roar resembles that of shrieking bells, and he shoots electric gravity beams from his mouth. Ghidorah was brought to life on screen with a combination of props, suits, and strings. Essentially, the techniques that were used in Mothra and Godzilla were combined to bring this 3-headed monster to life, creating probably one of the most ambitious of all kaiju. With 3 monsters on the loose, the twin fairies call to Mothra for help. However, this Mothra is still a larva, and with its twin, who supposedly passed away after Mothra vs. Godzilla. Our dear Moth decides to do the unthinkable, convince Godzilla and Rodan to fight Ghidorah. The scene where Mothra is conversing with Godzilla and Rodan is childlike in tone, with the fairies translating for the monsters. After the talks go south, the young larva crawls her way towards Ghidorah on her own. And that act alone convinces Godzilla and Rodan to take on the fight. The battle soon turns into a tag team brawl between the four monsters. It's 3 against 1. The battle scenes are worth the watch given how creative it develops, almost cartoonish, given that Mothra rides on top of Rodan for an attack. Regardless, it's entertaining to watch. The film ends with Ghidorah fleeing in defeat, the princess regaining her consciousness, and Japan saved thanks to Mothra, Rodan, and Godzilla. Ghidrah, the three-headed monster, was the turning point in the franchise. This was the beginning of Godzilla no longer becoming a threat to humanity, but instead a defender. Just as he was becoming more humanoid, his personality was also changing as well. The Western cut of the film, like Mothra's Godzilla, remains the same. Most cuts of the first-generation Godzilla films from here on to the present day remain almost the same as the original versions. It's a 5 out of 5, an entertaining plot with some comedic value, and cool battle scenes. Stay tuned for the next video, as Godzilla travels beyond to another world for a rematch.